Hi guys, this is Margaret and it's another Improve Yourself video. Now today's topic is going to be about starting a business. From personal experience, I have started a business, I'm still running a business and it is gradually growing. I say gradually, it's literally beginning stages. I mean, I started last year February, so right now we are in the next year in March, so it's been a year. But I guess 6 months of that year has been preparing. And preparing can be anything from finances to mindset, preparing your mind. Now, first and foremost, I had to prepare my mind. This is an idea that I've had. The idea of my business is one I've had for around 5 years. And I kept on saying, I could do this, I work with schools, like offering extracurriculum activities and also delivering apprenticeships in schools. And initially it started off with, extracurriculum activities. And I used to say, well, I can do this, it's fine, like, I'm confident. I'll go into other companies and I'll work for them. And I'll feel like I'm working for you, but I could be working on my own projects. So it started to get a little bit frustrating for me, and I guess that's a good point. I'm not saying get to a point where you're frustrated that you start a business. I'm saying when you know that in your heart you have a tug on your heart saying to you, you can do it. Like, there's always those restraints that stop you, but when you've got a tug on your heart, you're in a good place. Now, what I would say to you is listen to that tug. You've got to say to yourself, okay, I believe in myself. I'm capable of doing this business idea, but what do I need to do to prepare? Like I said, prepare. So I started off with, the first thing I initially did was registered my business on Companies House. Then I started putting foundations in place. So I started creating a website, just used one-on-one website domain. I bought a domain name, which is Improve Yourself. And I created my website, and I also got an online webmail, so I could start sending out emails. So for my business to really set off, I didn't really need much finances put in, because it is basically an agency whereby I send out tutors to work in schools or colleges. So for instance, we do like really random stuff like boxercise. We recently had a boxercise session in a college in Southeast London. We do things like ballet. We do things that are kind of out of the norm. Therefore, it's not necessary. I don't have to have the skills as a ballet dancer or a boxercise instructor, but I can actually employ people, and that's how the services work. But on top of that, and to add more kind of income, I then decided to get apprenticeships involved in the process as well. Apprenticeships are such a big thing today. However, schools don't really use apprentices as much, so I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity as well to kind of get into that industry and get young people getting more experience in school. So like I said, I didn't need much finances. Of course, I needed something. And what I mean by I needed something was for my marketing. So I had to create flyers, and I literally just designed them myself, my flyers, and I'll actually show you one now. Design my flyers myself. So it says, be the change you want to see in the world, as kind of the start of the title. And then there it says informative assemblies, extracurricular services, apprenticeships for schools. And at the top it says services for primary and secondary schools. Now, inside is kind of like more details on informative assemblies, on apprenticeships, and the different types of formative assemblies, which I actually missed out. Sorry, I shouldn't have missed that bit out. That's another thing that we do, but it's not as popular, to be honest. More so, what is popular is like extracurriculum activities. So as you can see there, we do different types of activities, and then it discusses on this side about apprenticeships and how an apprentice can work in a school, etc., etc. So I'm not going to lie to you, I've been grinding, and finances, you have to sacrifice your finances. So I was so used to getting a stable income, so used to having money coming in regularly. I would encourage you to not completely cross that out. Like, don't say to them, I'm just gonna like go in it. You don't have to do it the way I did it. I did it that way because I had other sources of income coming in the property market. So I was kind of okay in terms of surviving, you know. But what I would say to you is definitely don't rule it out in terms of working. Maybe you can work part-time, you can work on weekends, you can work in the evenings, just to keep a roof over your head, you know. But anyway, the next steps that I made, once I got my marketing done, I had my website. I also I had registered the company. I then started looking for an office space because at one point I was working from home, but I couldn't get into the mindset, right? Like, unless you're a really motivated person, I am a motivated person, but sometimes my environment needs to be correct in order for my frame of mind to be right. So I did a lot of research, and then I came across a really good office, which I didn't go straight into. I knew it was there, and I had to weigh up the finances. Luckily for me as well, I had somebody who was very like-minded as me. They had their own business. I'd known the lady for a long time. Her name's Lisa Russell, and she runs a company called Remain Inspired. We partnered together. We then decided, I trusted her, she trusted me. Our businesses were working, you know, hand in hand, where we was able to support each other. So as a result of that, we got an office together. Now, basically, once I had the office, I had to say to myself, I have to be motivated. No one is going to motivate me. I knew this from the beginning, but you have to continuously tell yourself that. You got to get up. You got to go out. You got to keep trying. You got to get meetings. You've got to be presentable. You've got to be consistent. So you got to be there. If you got a business, you got to be there at 9 a.m. You got to be the last one leaving. You might even not even have any employees like myself. I work for myself. So therefore, you need to make sure that you're able to capture any potential clients, when you're not in. So I made sure that my voicemail was in check. I made sure that my email was in check. I make sure that I get my emails on my device. So very much being in the loop of your business and who's in touch with you, who's contacting you. So yeah, when I went into meetings, I just had confidence in my product, making sure as well that I don't undermine myself. So put things in place, make sure you've got contracts in place, and make sure your what you're charging is not some pennies or whatever. You know, there's no point of putting the work in if you're not creating finances which have a profit. So basically what I'm saying is, don't just create business for the sake of, I did it. Create it for the sake of profit. So you want to cover all of your outgoings, and you want to make sure that there's profit at the end of the month. So have targets. I set myself targets every month. Say to myself, right, I've got to have at least 10 schools. Between 6 to 10 schools. 6 being the minimum, 10 being, you know, a good month. If I have schools who have agreed, then, you know, sometimes it can take slow, so you have to stay on top of things. You got to encourage the schools to sign contracts, because if you don't sign contracts, what ends up happening is finances slip through your hands. You know, they become very like nonchalant. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I feel like it. Especially with, you know, my clients in schools, they're very busy. So first and foremost, get them to sign a service level agreement or a contract. That's what I did. And yeah, so go for it. You know, there's that famous saying, if you don't, you know, try it now, you regret it later. So everything you want to do in life, don't wait. Like, literally, don't wait. I mean, it's a bit different if, you know, you've got dependents. Well, actually, that might even encourage me more if I had dependents to try and make my business a success, because at the end of the day, what's the point of grinding 9 to 5, right, for a dead-end job that you're not even enjoying, when you can just grind, start your own business, put in 100%, have confidence in yourself, have confidence in your business, and then you may or may not be successful. But at least you've tried. At least you've said to yourself, right, I went out there and I went for it. I didn't just think about it. Oh, that's a great idea, telling everyone. And that's another thing as well. Don't tell everyone. Because if you keep telling people, it kind of like takes away from what you're trying to achieve. Because you're like, people, I'm not saying don't tell anyone, but I'm just saying don't tell everyone. Because people can take from you in a sense that they're like, oh, okay, you're going to do this, but it's going to be a bit hard because what about this? Or what about your rent? Or what about... And all of these are valid reasons, but you have to analyze things for yourself. You've got to think through things for yourself. Your finances are your finances. Obviously, if you've got a partner, talk it through with your partner properly. This is what I'm going to do. Can we afford it? Break it down. I always break down my finances. What are my outgoings? And, you know, yeah, if you don't try, you never will know, and you don't have any regrets in the future. So definitely go for it, push yourself 100%. Like I said, my business is still growing. I use Improve Yourself as also a platform for my blogs. So because the name Improve Yourself is just so, it applies to everything really. Improve yourself through our workshops, improve yourself through apprenticeships, improve yourself just generally in life through the advice that I give through my blog. So I would say never as well restrict your business idea. Always be open to adapting with how the world is today, how things are going today. That I think is a must. But at the same time, don't lose sight of your focus and what you're trying to achieve. So my business is aimed at working with mainly young people. That's my target audience in school, you know, ranging from 12 to 18. However, on the side, I'm able to do my videos, which appeal to pretty much, I'm hoping, everyone. And because it's quite short, it's a catchy logo and name, people will remember it. It's like improve yourself, like, you know, improve yourself. How can you forget that? So that's what I do. Like I said, I only started last year. I was working, you know, in jobs which built me up, and I would never put down any of my previous employers because they made me who I am today. So every experience is to build you up. But don't stay in something for too long that you don't know your direction, or, you know, you just think about this is my direction, but you don't do it because you become too comfortable in your current situation. Don't get too comfortable. Life is about moving. Life is about progression. Life is about building yourself, you know, for the better. In this day and age, like, people are like, there's competition out there. You understand? So don't settle. You know, if a business isn't for you, then that's fine. You know, I don't put down people who are working for having an employee. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, one day, if my business gets more successful, I will employ people. So if it's not for you, a business, then it's not for you. But if you really, in your heart, feel like, you know what, I'm a go-getter in terms of I want to run things for myself, you know, I have this idea, I want to make it happen, you know, have confidence in your idea, lay down the foundations, you know, talk to like-minded people, you know, sort out your finances. So make sure if, you know, you don't have savings, at least you've got maybe a part-time job. get yourself into a regular kind of pattern of going to work, like, you know, be there early, leave late,